Let me know when you're ready. We'll just talk about comics. Everybody else read XKCD religiously? All right, if nothing else, we now all know that we love XKCD. That's great. How are we doing, guys? I don't think so. Yeah. I'll be honest. I had some countermeasures planned. They didn't work out quite as well as I'd hoped. But we'll talk about that together while I'm crying on the ground, being kicked by the entire remote exploit crew, who last time was following me but is now taking a darker path. Dude, I know where you're sleeping tonight. We ready? Yeah? All right, so everybody does love XKCD, right? This is my personal second favorite XKCD ever. I meant to make an access point to do that here. I didn't have quite enough time because I'm actually releasing some working code this time. And those of you that know me know that I can't code at all. So the amount of effort that went into that was a little more significant. But I said this is my second favorite XKCD for a reason. You see, this is my first favorite XKCD. This is what all of you expect when you come in to aircrackng or remoteexploit.org. You boot from that CD and you say, man, I pressed a button that said hack, but nothing happened. It didn't crack my neighbor's web key or anything. And as I was going through and I was laughing at these comics, I started reading the alt text and I saw, hey, this is an option in the newest Ubuntu release. I didn't see that. But then when I was checking all the blog postings this morning, I remembered something. Something kind of funny. Isn't Backtrack 4 based on Ubuntu? No. I got to thinking to myself, and I was reading Mutz's blog this morning, and I saw this picture. Did anybody else see that this morning on the Backtrack blog? Searching for Wi-Fi, found no open networks. SSID Smith family, no common passwords, no web. Found Smith children, children acquired. Man, that is some cool stuff you guys have been peddling. I am definitely downloading that later. 802.11 OBGYN, or Spread Your Spectrum. I cannot take much credit for this talk title. It was, dude, I thought you were on my side. What's up? Well, as I said, I can't take as much credit for this as I'd like to. A couple of people in the channel were helping me name this stuff, and I came up, and I thought this was kind of funny, and then something terrible happened. 802.11o is a reserved and unused letter. There is no 802.11o, so I can't talk about that. When I submitted the talk, I didn't even notice 802.11y just got ratified. So those of you that are here to hear about 802.11y, I am super sorry. Travis Goodspeed's a really smart guy. He's in the next room talking about like cool stuff. So if you came here to learn about that, Travis is awesome. I'm sorry. Maybe next time I'll buy some more hardware. If you don't already know, my name is Rick Farina. I go by Zero Chaos online. A lot of people make fun of me for that, and that's cool too. How many of you have been kicked by me? No volunteers? There you go. All right, only friends. Yeah, that's great. I'm a jerk, so I think I have a couple of things coming for me later. I'll find out, won't I? Larry. Anyway, I'm a senior wireless security researcher at Airtight Networks. I work on the Aircrack project. I do a lot of embedded development. Lately, I've been doing a lot of fun stuff. And for those of you that understand the last line, see me after class. You might remember me from such previous exploits. You might remember me from such previous exploits as walking into my own talk late at Defcon 16. My laptop exploded as I was trying to run a little contest, and I lost all my slides 30 minutes before my talk. But fortunately, a very good friend helped me out, and thanks, Luis. I appreciate it. You also might remember me from rudely interrupting other people's talks. No? You can't hear me anymore? No? You might remember me from rudely interrupting other people's talks. Does anybody remember me from that? Personally, up close. And I've also incited hackers to riot myself. So quite frankly, those of you sitting near the front that aren't armed, I apologize. At some point in time, when somebody makes noise besides Larry, you might want to duck. Something tells me somebody's mad at me. Well, now I'm back. I'm going to try to talk a little bit. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so if you guys could wait for the charge until, at least I get a little bit of this talked about. Frequency updates, talk about the frequency stuff I did at DEF CON. Got a little bit more, got a little bit of fun. Man, am I glad I have this shield. Unusual encryption. Some weird stuff's happening. A lot of proprietary stuff I've been seeing lately. I thought it was kind of interesting, and nobody's ever talked about it. So I thought I'd let you guys know what's out there. Wireless intrusion detection and prevention. It's a topic I work for a company that does that. I promise it's not commercial. If it's commercial, the rest of you can join the 40 people that are already planning on beating me. Okay? Standard disclaimer. If you break the law, it's your fault. It's not my fault. I told you not to do it. Honest. Yeah. Okay? I'm not an expert. I've been testing this stuff. I've been running it. If my code kills your cat, I'm really sorry. Okay? I am having an official contest. I promised to do this last time, and my laptop exploded, so let me just show you right now. Contest. It's running. There is now an access point. It's actually just a bunch of packets, to be quite honest. There are a bunch of packets in the air, hidden in the airwaves. I have hidden the AP. If you can report the center frequency of operation, the SSID, and any of the MAC addresses, you win. Insiders, people that I've told already, very good friends that were testing my code, you're not eligible. Got good news and bad news. The spoils go. If somebody can find my access point before the end of the talk, you win a Ubiquity Super Range card bus. Unfortunately, nobody's been selling them. So I'm putting up my honorarium instead. I got $200 bills. If you tell me what frequency I'm running on, they're yours. If you're right, your face is in the video. If you're wrong, your face is in the video, but it's going to be red. Okay? Unfortunately, the people that won the Wi-Fi race couldn't compete, so apparently it's on fair ground this time. Okay? If you find it before 1700, $50. The access point challenge will be at the airtight booth where I've got free power. Okay? Find the access point after 5 o'clock, you get a hearty handshake and a pat on the back. Okay? So we've discussed a lot of this stuff before. I mentioned this at Defcon. I'm going to try to breeze through it a little bit. Wi-Fi frequencies. Taken from the kernel drivers for ATH5K, these are the frequencies that it uses in the US. You'll notice it's starkly missing the dynamic frequency selection channels, the radar avoidance channels. The reason is because that driver does not support it yet. But honestly, does it seem a little odd to anybody else that people make Wi-Fi cards that support these odd sets of frequencies? Does anybody actually think that it didn't support the frequencies in the middle? Come on. No. No. It just doesn't make sense. There are some licensed bands out there, vendors that make special licensed radios, military, public safety style equipment, typically very expensive. I'm not going to mention any names in particular, but my very favorite company in the whole wide world sells some nice, expensive gear. It's cool stuff. Frequencies of 4.92 gigahertz seem real close to 5.18, don't they? 200 megahertz for something that already tunes over a gig? It seems odd. And then you get to thinking, you know, manufacturers are cheap, right? Why would you want to retool the line to make a completely new product when all you have to do is slap 2 bits into the software and say, okay, enable this feature, disable this feature? Makes sense, right? Allows for one radio to be sold for many purposes, lots of control from the software. So who controls the software? Well, most of you are probably still running Mad Wi-Fi. I'm super sorry about that. Controls anything the vendor wants. They say this is what the card can do. Realistically speaking, Mad Wi-Fi doesn't even drive the card. The HAL drives the card. You ask the HAL politely to do what you want. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it crashes. It's hard to say. But most of the vendors now are starting to move towards a more open source friendly position. Who do we like for this stuff? Everybody loves Atheros, right? Yeah, Atheros. Man, nobody else likes Atheros. Really? Go Intel? Wow, tough crowd. Okay, Atheros and Atheros and Rawlink are very nice about their drivers. They both provide a substantial amount of code to the community. They open source all of their stuff. They have developers actively working on this for the community. They're great, okay? Intel and Marvell have been a little bit slower to that kind of adoption. They still have a little bit of U-code, a little bit of firmware, but they have developers working with the Linux people on the kernel, building this stuff in so that it actually works for you and you can use it. Now you can finally, stop. Yeah, what's up? There we go. Now you can finally stop complaining that your Wi-Fi cards don't work in Linux. These people are spending money on you, okay? Broadcom doesn't honor requests for chipset documentation and releases binary drivers that are broken. What else can I say?